Say 39.
Number 1.
39.
1.
38.
37.
36.
35.
34.
33.
32.
31.
30.
29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
22.
21.
20.
19.
18.
17. 16.
15.
14.
13.
12.
11.
10. 9. 8.
7.
6. 5.
4.
3.
2.
1. It's time for mouthwash. Giddy up. Hi, and welcome to the Mouthwash Talk Show, a minty fresh take on politics. And as you saw the little intro to the show there, Lieutenant Governor, I didn't know you could run for Lieutenant Governor. How's all that work? Well, we are going to try to find out tonight about that. And so far, I don't see all my people backstage. I see Jordan backstage. So let's see what we can get going here. We got a few viewers coming on. Let me hit up Micah here. He had an event tonight, and he said he was going to be coming from his car. Maybe you have caught some of Micah's videos in his car, because he'll do video rants. He'll talk about this and that in his car. So it's funny because Mark Small, his small talk tonight is going to be from his car. So he's going to try to do that. So we may play that and then hopefully get somebody on here. So let's see here. Let's put on here. Where are you, Micah? And hopefully you've been watching on Channel 40. If you want to see an edited version of this, I have to take it down to 28 and a half minutes. And that's every Monday at 9:30. We may be changing time slots here soon, but I don't know. We're still trying to work that out because I really need a little more time in between editing, because I have to edit these shows to go to them. So, and this is just a part-time gig for me, so I don't have all days to do that. So let's see if who we got here on the thing. Hey, we got Spiro and Stephen Whitty. So everybody's here in the audience. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and bring Jordan on. We're going to see what we can talk about here. I saw Jordan like, hey, Jordan, how's it going? Welcome to the Mouthwash Show. It's the John and Jordan Show tonight.
Hey, it's the J&J Show tonight. That's
J&J,
okay.
that's right. Procter & Gamble, be proud of us.
Yeah, there we go.
Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, all that stuff. So how you doing this evening?
Can't complain. It's been a pretty good day. Very windy. Almost
Yeah,
blew
it got
away
a little
twice
windy.
today.
We had 9.5 yards of concrete at 7 a.m. this morning. Had it all down and finished out by 9:30. So it was good. Then we moved a bunch of dirt. My son's helping me. Fun times. Yeah, it's
Nice.
a little breezy. It's not bad weather though. So where's our people? I sent another message here. Let me see if I can get them going here. I swear.
Well, it is the summer. I can't blame them. They live in their lives most likely.
It's still daylight out. So there's.
Sure.
But we were talking about backstage. We were talking about the July 4th, because I believe the July 4th is on a Tuesday. Is that right? Yeah.
Yep, sure is.
We're not having no show on July 4th. I'll be shooting fireworks and stuff. I think we're gonna move that to the July 5th. Do you think that's a good idea, Jordan?
I think that's a good idea. It's Wednesday. Everybody needs to pick me up in the middle of the week.
Yeah,
I'd be a little bit hungover celebrating America.
We could do it Monday night.
We could.
But that's when the other show's on. That would be interesting, where both shows on at the same time.
Back to back.
Maybe we'll look at that. But I hear from some people that are watching on Channel 40. So It is an abbreviated show because it's only 28 and a half minutes. It's got to be
Well,
exactly.
it looks like Spiro said no. So
no.
we're going back to the
what day, Spiro? What day? Yeah, Spiro said cut their pay. Yeah, that's funny. What day do you think? Listen to the audience. What day do you think, Spiro? What day would you like to see? Would it be Wednesday or Monday? Waiting.
Wednesday.
Okay, so there we go. The great Oz has spoken.
Wednesday it is.
And we will do that. So that will be the day. So maybe we'll get Mike on here in a minute. Let me send him a text message on this. I did say he could come on at 9:30 if it helped him get home. And I really thought we would have more chitter chatter to talk about. So, well, we can talk about stuff.
We can talk.
Yeah, what's on your mind right now? So
I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Here, let's talk about this. This is a good thing to talk about. Everyone should run for state delegate.
Yes.
Yeah. Now keep that in mind as we have the show tonight, because that's how, I don't want to spoil it, but that's how the lieutenant governor, we have, in these parties, the two big parties, they have these things called conventions. And if you're a state delegate, you got to run for it. It'll come up this next January. All you do is, looks like you just fill this out. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's when you were there. So what you do is you fill out the form and they'll take, is that the one where they have, like, if there's 25 people signed up, the 17 most votes get the delegate? Is that the one that does that? I
think it is that one. Yeah. Like you want to have as many people sign up as possible, but then I guess it's like a popularity contest. Who do we want representing?
Yeah. And then this is another one, run for precinct committee person.
Yes.
And there's two eyes in that, apparently, because they're always looking at you. Two eyes always looking at you. So, yeah, if you run for state delegate, if you're unopposed, so this is something that goes in the primary. So it'll go in the primary. You'll go vote in the primary because it's a party thing. It's not a general election.
Right.
And if you do not have a challenger, which I didn't, nobody really cares about the Republican Party where I live. So it's pretty easy pickings. I can actually win something. Precinct committeeman, slam dunk. So you just, and if you're not on there, you automatically win. If you run, like I said, say there's 25 people sign up in your area, your state delegate area, all you got to do is just beat some of them, because there'll be like 17 spots available. And I believe that Marion County has quite a few state delegates.
Well, it looks like Spiro says it depends on the number of delegates and the number of candidates per township.
Okay, yeah. So there's some magic formula that somebody smarter than me made up. That's how we do it. So this is Stevie Whitmer. He put in here the link to the YouTube. So how to run for state delegate. Your excuses, you don't have any more excuses to do this.
All gone.
So we got that out of the way. Let's see. So we have a race coming up for the mayor and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw today that Mayor Hogsett was talking to Dr. Kane at the health department about declaring an emergency for the children in Marion County. Have you heard that one?
Or for shooting?
I don't know what I just was an emergency for the kids in Marion County.
I would agree with him on that. Like if it's for the heinous shootings that are happening, sure. You should have declared it a long time ago. But what are you trying to do?
I don't know what it was for. I just saw the clickbait headline, and of course they put a frowny face. Hogsett with a frowny face. He's like that grumpy guy. That one guy's got the puppet.
He lost his bone in the
So here we go. Adam says Marion County changes how they do their delegate districts every year. Now, does that surprise you? Okay, here's one from Spiro. Up in Lawrence Township, had 17 positions with 45 people running. And I don't want to tell on Spiro, but he didn't win. Now, this is one of those things where your name may have. Now, let's check out this name here. Now, Spiro Iraklianos. I mean, that doesn't just jump out and say, hey, that's a guy that, if you're going to order a Greek pizza.
It's a unique name. How many people have with that name? You'll remember that name.
It's a cool name. Iraklianos. It only took me like 2 years to learn how to say it. Iraklianos. And then George Sturgiopoulos. That one took me a while to say too. He's another Greek guy. I got a picture of him and Spiro. George Sturgiopoulos and Spiro Heraklianis was down talking on the big S at the city county building. They were talking Greek. It was really sort of cool that they were talking in Greek. Now, Spiro doesn't speak a lot of it. Now, like he's a good sport. He says LOL. That's good. So this is what it's like. Oh wait, here we go. This is what and we got some really on the ball listeners for youth and gun violence.
Well, I'm glad.
I mean, the health department. That's the first thing that jumps out into my mind. Isn't it the health department? I mean, if you're bleeding, you need the health department.
Well, we're low on blood.
So today I saw on the social media, because that's how the mayor runs everything from Twitter. Yeah. They were breaking ground on a new park. Mm-hmm. And I believe that we just had a bunch of shootings in the parks, didn't we?
Well, it wouldn't be the Wild West if we didn't have a good old shootout.
Yep. Oh, I do see Micah coming on back there. He's in his car, so I think he can hear us. I thought I'd let you come on yet, Micah. So yeah, I see you back there. Yeah, we're putting you in the green room or maybe the blue room or the pink room or whatever for a minute. So, but let's do this. We're going to go ahead. Let's play small talk and then we'll bring him on. Or how about that? We'll let him cool off. He said some story about going to Top Golf event tonight. You know, I don't even know. He didn't even look like a golfer. He's got a flat bill hat. He looks like more like a skateboard guy. But we'll see. Let's see what Mark Small's got to have. But I think he's going to probably make fun of Micah a little bit. We'll see. Here we go. Mark Small, small talk.
Hi, I'm Mark Small. It's Small Talk on a very Micah Beckwith is running for lieutenant governor of the state of Indiana, and that's not an independent kind of thing. It has to go to convention, not to the voters. And he used to give like his talks in his car. I think he's got a bumper sticker that says "God is my co-pilot." I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not going to be that presumptuous. But he says he's a constitutionalist, and he believes that this country is founded on Christian values, and also he believes in original intent in the framers. Okay, first of all, what's a constitutionalist? We have constitutions, national and state. And one of the first rules of interpreting the Constitution is to look at the actual words. The words God and Jesus Christ do not occur in the Constitution. So where does he get that notion? Also, people, when they're saying we need to look at the original intent of the framers, ignore the fact that the framers said don't look to us for intent. They also want to ignore the fact that the framers put a provision in there, amendments that would allow the Constitution to change as the country changed. And some really important changes occurred in 1865. Those had to do primarily with slavery. The southern states withdrew from the Union because they wanted to preserve the institution of slavery. And for you Republicans out there, the Republican Party was started to stop the spread of slavery and actually is abolitionist in a lot of ways. So what do we have? They're saying, forget about slavery. That's long over, it's past history. At the same time as they're saying, look to the framers for their intent. And it's all bunk. The Christian values, general values about religion, people have their religious beliefs in this country. We have a freedom to believe as we wish. But there's a separation of church and state, so that people like Micah Beckwith can't tell you what to believe. And See, I'm in the passenger seat. I guess God's not my co-pilot. And somebody just flunked the field sobriety test. I got to get home. I'll drive. I'm sober. Take care. Peace.
There you go. So let's get Mike out. So you're driving now, huh? Okay.
Yeah. So I just got done with a Project Rescue fundraiser. We at our church help raise money to set women and children free from sex slavery across the world, and so we've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last few years. And so that was a big fundraiser we put on tonight to kick off kind of our season for supporting a bunch of great work that Project Rescue is doing across the country and across the world. So I understand slavery. I mean, we see it firsthand. We got an inside look into what there's slavery still exists big time in this world, and we need to root it out. Thankfully, we live in the United States, and what I would ask Mark Small is Mark, who gets to decide what's right and wrong then? If we're not a nation on Christian values, what values would you say we should be built on? And you can't have a nation without a value system in your nation. And so I know the Republican Party, and Mark was right when he said the Republican Party was established to root out slavery. Well, that's a biblical foundation. God is not the author of slavery. He's the author of freedom. And so I would ask if we want to kick out the biblical foundations like he's trying to say with separation of church and state, which, by the way, was never intended by our founders. Our founders did not say anything anywhere in the Constitution about separation of church and state. They only said that the state can't tell the church what to do. They never said that the church shouldn't be the conscience of the state. They always believed that that should be the case. And so anyway, all that to say, what value system are we going to have as a people? And that's the question I always pose to people who say, well, we don't want to be a Christian nation or a nation of Christian values, and say, okay, well, what are you going to replace it with? Well, we don't have to have religion. No, somebody's religion is going to replace it. Your religion is your belief system. So which one do you want to do? Islamic Sharia law? Would that be a good system for you? Or the secular progressive religion? We see that they're telling little boys that they can be little girls and little girls that they can be little boys. I don't like they're cool with gender mutilation of kids. I don't want that religion being the foundation of our nation. So Mark is wrong on so many issues all the time. We know this, but I would say that I would ask him, okay, Mark, which foundations do you want? Which biblical or which principles, if it's not biblical, which principles do you want to build our nation on? So anyway, that's my soapbox to respond to Mark Small. So.
Yeah, nothing like coming in hot on the show. So let's back it up just one or two notches here. Let's introduce yourself, and you already told us a little bit about yourself. So just say and introduce yourself and tell our viewers what the heck you doing on the Mouthwash show tonight.
Yeah, well, hey, it's good to be with you. Always, I love the Mouthwash audience and the show. I am. My name's Micah Beckwith. I'm a pastor. I'm a political activist. I'm an all-around, just pretty decent guy, depending on who you ask. But no, I would say that I've just got a heart for truth. I want to see people know the truth. I really believe that if you know the truth, you'll be set free. And so we got to find out what the truth is, and then we got to proclaim the truth. And that's just what I do. So I don't really see anything of what I do as political or non-political. I just say, hey, let's find the truth collectively, and I believe that'll be good. It'll go well for all of us. And so what I'm doing, though, I'm running for lieutenant governor in the great state of Indiana. And so I made that announcement 2 weeks ago, and it's been going great. We're already getting all over the state, and people are excited and intrigued, because you don't typically run for lieutenant governor in Indiana. So we can get into that more, but yeah, it's going really well. And I think I can bring a check and balance and a voice that will fight for truth in that executive branch that we really haven't had for the last 4 to 8 years here in Indiana. So.
Yeah, that's interesting, and my conspiracy theory tonight surrounds the lieutenant governor thing, and I think you'll find it quite interesting. It's sort of a rumor mill / conspiracy that is going on there. But let me back up 2 more notches on this. My lovely wife Lisa asked, "Where are the girls tonight?" Well, I don't know where Tiffany is, but Lucy, her dad has had surgery today, so she's. I'm assuming everything went well, and so she's attending to some family matters. So it's just Jordan and John and Micah tonight at this point, and of course we already have Mark Small. One of the questions that I would have, and I know we talked about this. You talked about that on the trafficking thing. You just did a fundraiser for that. I think July 4th, this movie called Freedom is coming out with. Caviezel.
Yeah.
What do you? I think that there's something inside. Something's brewing that I think that there finally may be this pedophilia, this sex trafficking thing may get enough traction to actually have some progress, because I just think it's something that's swept under the rug. People are uncomfortable talking about it, and it's there. I mean, it can't be ignored, but it is ignored. So what's your thought? What's the Spirit telling you, preacher?
Well, I think ultimately what the Holy Spirit is saying is he's saying, set my people free. I mean, it's the same thing he told Moses. Moses, set my people free. And Moses went and told Pharaoh, let my people go, is what God is saying. And so, again, God is a God of freedom and liberty. He's not a God of slavery. And so we are, just because America has dealt with the issue of slavery and rooted that scourge out of our society, doesn't mean slavery doesn't still exist in the world. And actually, studies have shown that there's more slaves now currently in this time in history than there have been in any other time in history throughout world history. And so we've got a lot of work to do. But I hope you're right, John, that people are waking up to it and they're talking about it. I love what Jim Caviezel is doing with the Sound of Freedom. I think it's going to be an amazing movie. July 4th is when it comes out. I know he wants people to go out and buy tickets early because Hollywood is trying to stop this film from existing. They don't want this film out. They don't like again, it's biblical truth that's being spoken, and they don't like that. And so if you can help Jim by going out and buying tickets early, that will give him more cred as they're trying to get this into more theaters. So that's what we're doing at our church. We're trying to buy up tickets and get people to go buy our tickets early so that on July 4th, they have a great showing. And so anyway, all that to say, I hope and pray that things like pedophilia and sex trafficking would end today. Like it's so wicked and evil and cruel what people can do to other people, women and children specifically, and it makes my blood boil when I see this, and it's heartbreaking. You just want to go in and rescue every person that you see in these environments, but we can't do it alone. We got to do it collectively. We've got to, as a culture, say this is enough's enough, and you shall not pass, and you're not going to go any further with this wickedness in our world. So I hope that's what happens. I hope that's what comes to be, John.
Yeah, well, and it's a worldwide issue. This isn't just us, and you can compare it to climate change. It's everybody's thing. It's not just us or you. You're out there putting more carbon dioxide in the air driving your car right now, Micah. You're just a terrible person. All right, we're gonna shift gears here. I think Jordan's got some political, because this is a political talk show, by the way. We talk about politics sometimes, and Jordan's going to ask you some questions about this lieutenant governor deal. Jordan, go ahead.
Yeah, I got some good questions for you about the lieutenant governor role. All right, so obviously we heard what Mark Small had to say about his idea on the First Amendment. My question is to you, Micah, being in the lieutenant governor role, our lieutenant governor, first of all, is probably the most active lieutenant governor throughout the whole entire nation. They have a lot of power that's underneath their hands, particularly in sectors and industries that are the vital arteries to the Hoosier economy. My question is to you, as a Republican like myself, where do you see the middle of the road to where you can leave your personal beliefs at the door and be able to lead with an economic conservative value viewpoint when stepping into that state house when you win the election? Hopefully you will win. What will you do to safeguard our liberties, whether if we have difference of religion or if we do have the same religion? How would you help those Hoosiers who may not be religious or may be atheists? How would you offer them an olive branch so that they don't see you as one-sided but fair to all Hoosiers?
Yeah, that's a good question, Jordan. I appreciate it. So first and foremost, I always tell everyone, just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean that, politically speaking, the government has any right to tell you have to be a Christian or not a Christian, and vice versa. So I'm not running to proselytize anybody. I'm running to protect the liberties of people to be able to make their own choice. As a pastor and a follower of Jesus, I can't leave that at the door. I'm never gonna. My identity is in who I am in Christ, so I'm not going to be able to check it at the door. I'm going to tell everyone, hey, there's a God in heaven. He's got a purpose for you. He loves you. He's made a way for you. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that to people. But in the United States of America, we built our nation on biblical principles like liberty so that everyone can have the right to worship however they want to worship. So Christian principles give you the freedom to reject Christianity as an individual. That it's not like, we'll just use, I mentioned Sharia law and Islam. It's not like that. If you reject Sharia law or Allah in certain Islamic nations, you'll be killed. That's not what the Christian religion says. The Christian religion says, no, every person has to have the liberty to come and accept Christ on their own, not being forced into it. And so that's what I want America to be, is just a place where people can seek out truth. They can know the truth. But here's what's happening right now in our culture. Our culture is suppressing truth, and it's coming from the left. The left has, you've seen it with Twitter censorships, you've seen it with Facebook, you've seen it with YouTube, with the media. I mean, they, like, even Indianapolis media is censoring the truth in so many different ways. And so I would say we've got to get to a place where truth can just be free to be spoken. And here's the beauty about truth. Truth is not, truth does not need you to defend it. It's like a lion. All you have to do is set it free, and it will defend itself. And I don't care if I'm wrong on an issue. I want the truth to be out there so that I know I'm wrong on it, and I can then change to align with truth. So let's find truth. And I'm not perfect, but nobody's perfect. And so I would just say we got to find truth and come to that place collectively. So as Lieutenant Governor, I'm going to fight for people's liberties to make their own choices. And I did that over the last 2.5 years with the COVID vaccine mandates. I stood up for over 4,000 Hoosiers who said, they reached out to me and said, Pastor Micah, I'm getting forced to take this vaccine against my will, and I don't want to take it. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's going to be good for my body. Would you help me defend my liberties? And we've written over 4,000 religious exemptions for people to stand up for their own choice, their own liberty. And I don't have a personal opinion in one way or the other on vaccines or no vaccine. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I do think it's wrong when the government or someone forces someone into a situation they don't want to be in. And I defended people, but on both sides of the aisle. There were leftists and rightists and liberals and conservatives, and I mean, I love defending liberty for people. So hopefully that answers your question, Jordan. I'm not running to proselytize the nation. I'm running so that we can be free to accept the truth on our own terms, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
No, and I appreciate that answer. I think that's an awesome response. But kind of to give you a little bit idea into my thought process, I'm looking at who you may be matched up with as a governor pick. And so we have to have a really strong, cohesive Republican team that can handle that great diversity that we have in the state. We may be able to have the first woman governor. And it'd be great to have somebody in the lieutenant governor role that can be in a very supporting role. So my question was more geared towards how would you be able to use your faith to hold us together in a time where it's very easy to gnash our teeth, because people get the definition of gnashing teeth very wrong. They hear it in the Bible and they think it's about religion. It's really about just being irritated and irate with someone and constantly going at it. So finding that good balance to give us some type of decorum to where we can keep moving Hoosiers forward.
Yeah, that's good. And I look forward to working with any of the candidates that are running right now on the Republican side. I actually have a friendship with all of them, and I think they all have a lot of strengths that they bring. So to your point about let's just take Suzanne Crouch. I really values and personal values. I think she's going to have to get out from underneath the Holcomb shadow. That's going to be kind of her test. Can she do that? But if it was Suzanne, I think I would back her up really well on a plethora of issues. She's one of the hardest workers in politics that I know. She has a great vision for agriculture. She's worked really hard to help get rural communities the resources they need to be able to be prosperous and economically to thrive. And so that's just one example with the Suzanne. I think I'd work really well with someone like that. But then, I could say the same about Mike Braun and Eric Godin and Jamie Rittenauer, and there's rumors that Curtis is going to get in too, Curtis Hill, and all of these people I've worked with enough to kind of know their strengths and weaknesses, and I think I would be set up really well to be able to say, hey, I can come in and really be a force to help push the agenda down the road, but also, and this is why I'm running, like, primarily to be a check and balance, just in case, God forbid, they would have stepped out of line from constitutional authority like we've seen the last 4 years. Governor Holcomb, he's a nice man. I like him as a person, but boy, he stepped out of his constitutional authority big time when he tried to shut churches down or label people essential or non-essential or fight against constitutional carry. And that's where I would come in and be a strong voice of truth for that and just say, hey, listen, Governor, I like you. I appreciate everything on this one. And so it's a check and balance. And I think checks and balances are very, very healthy.
And it would be a different angle because, whoever comes out of the primary gets to pick who they one as lieutenant governor. And so I assume you're at your house now, or either that or you're driving with no hands. Is that what we got going on here? Because we got to go.
Or I have a Tesla and I just put it in auto. I don't have a Tesla actually, but I'm close to my house. I pulled into a well-lit gas station here, so hopefully I can get some good stage lighting.
Okay,
so
yeah, because you went through the tunnels there, or the underbrasses, and you're like disappearing and like that. So let's do it. Let's talk about another thing that the lieutenant governor does. The lieutenant governor sort of operates the Senate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, are you familiar with that?
Oh, 100%. Right. One of the big reasons why I jumped into this race, as I've watched the last 2 to 3 sessions play out here in Indiana, the House has actually been doing some pretty good things, but they send bills over to the Senate, and the Senate is kind of where conservative bills go to die right now. And there's not a lot of backbone, there's not a lot of courage in the Senate, and I think I could help bring that to the Senate. I could take arrows in the media. I mean, I'm good at that. I get blasted in the media quite a bit, and I'm fine with that. I could be that buffer that could stand between them and the firing squads of the left and the media, and let them do the job that I think a lot of them do want to do. I think a lot of them have strong conservative values. They just get a little scared sometimes, and I saw that with Senate Bill 1 last summer that was fighting for life, the right to choose life, and they just were a little scared. And so I think being the president of the Senate is a really important role of the Indiana lieutenant governor. I look forward to stepping into that battle and being a backbone, hopefully, to a lot of the senators.
Yeah, let me back up a little bit on this, because I think this is a genius move myself, because this is something that nobody runs for this. You don't announce that you're going to run for this. This is something that you do back channels. The party sort of grooms you up to that. I mean, Suzanne Crouch didn't just plop out of the sky like a Martian. She, they found her, and she worked her way up to this stuff for different things. So how did you come up with this idea? I mean,
Well, it's to your point. I just started thinking, why is this an anointing? Why is this not picked by the people? I don't like it in either party, especially in the Republican Party, when the power brokers tell us, the people, who should be in power. Like, that has always driven me crazy, and I fight that every time. I do not want somebody telling the people they don't have a right to choose who is elected in the offices that are designed to represent the people. So the lieutenant governor's office, for the last 35 roughly years, has just been an anointing by the gubernatorial candidate who wins the primary. But the governor candidate, most people don't realize this, does not have the power to pick lieutenant governor. What he does is he signals to the delegates at the convention who to pick. And the delegates just for the last 35 years have said, okay, Mr. Governor candidate or Miss Governor candidate, we're going to pick whoever you tell us to pick. I don't like that. The people need to choose who's best in their opinion. And so the delegates represent the base of the party, and they need to have a voice. And they pick the attorney general candidate, the treasurer candidate, the secretary of state candidate, and the auditor candidate as well. But for some reason, the other office that they have a right to vote on, they're not allowed to, quote unquote, pick it. And so I'm saying it should be your voice. So I'm running to give the delegates a voice, and it's their choice. And you know what? I think it's healthy. And I hope that this sets precedent for years to come. If I'm elected, Lord willing, as lieutenant governor, I want the delegates to have the freedom to choose in 4 years from now, should I be the lieutenant governor again? And if somebody else wants to run against me, if someone doesn't think more power to them. I think competition and giving the people a choice is incredibly healthy. We need that in our culture, in our society. So that's I started thinking about that about a year and a half ago, and I just was like, where are the checks and balances in the executive branch? And
how much did it because we had some upsets at the state delegate, the party picks, they didn't do so well. And so did that sort of give you a little more opportunity, or maybe a way to get in there.
Yes and no. I mean, I've been a delegate since 2016 every year. So it's every 2 years we have a convention. So 16, 18, 20, and 22. And in 22, you're right. Some of the establishment picks, they didn't win. So Diego Morales won, and he was certainly not the establishment's pick. Daniel Elliott won, and he was up against Elise. And I would say Elise is not necessarily establishment per se, but certainly Daniel was kind of the outsider as well, and maybe the conservative. So that played out well in 2022, and I think that's good and bad for me right now, because it means that the base of the party is saying we are very conservative. We want people who are going to hold true to conservative and constitutional values. But that also means that the establishment's going to come out swinging in 2024. They're not going to sit idly by and just go home. They're going to come out. They're going to come. It's kind of like what happened in 2020, right? 2016, the left got bamboozled with Donald Trump winning. Never thought it was possible in a million years. And so they came out swinging in 2020 harder. And I think that's what we're up against in 2024 at the convention. Is the establishment will probably come out swinging a little bit harder to keep somebody like me off the ballot, because they want to be the ones to tell you who you have to vote for. And I'm saying, no, I want to give people a choice. So,
yeah. Okay. Jordan, I know you got another question, but I want to get one more in here because I've got a little line here going. So what's the chances of one of these governor candidates after they get out of the primary picking you? Do you got a plan for that?
Yeah, I mean, I would still say, hey, let's go to the convention. It would be an honor. I think that would probably solidify my run, probably a few weeks prior to the convention. If they said, hey, we like what Mike is doing, he's working hard, he's getting a good message out there, we could certainly see him in the executive branch as lieutenant governor. Well, that's great. I mean, I would highly take that as a very high compliment, but I would still say, hey, give it to the delegates. I would tell the delegates the same thing.
It might hurt you. You might lose a few votes. It's like, hey, this is a new strategy how to get rid of Micah. Let's endorse him.
That's right. That's right.
I'm coming at all the angles here for you. So, okay, yeah. Jordan, go ahead, Jordan. This is sort of fun. I get to be one of the panelists tonight because we don't have any. So,
well, I think like my biggest thing is it's like there needs to be some type of reform on our rights and traditions in the party. It is so outdated. And I guess that's kind of a good thing for us as party members, is that it's kind of good to when you get to this point where we can have a healthy conversation about what are we right now, who do we want to be, and what are our big core values now in this present time. It's always good to look back to the past to give us some guidance for the present, but we should still be mapping a course towards the future. So I agree 100% with you. I think, if you were at the last convention, you saw how it was. To me, it was a very disarray of disrespect to the voters' voice. And so I think that would be a good show to have the voters fully be a part of the process. We have a right to be able to cast our vote for all of those offices, including the lieutenant governor. That should not just be some type of regalia that's given to the chosen person for governor to handpick that person. I mean, we've seen what happened if you pick someone wrong for positions like this, and particularly when you have coffers full of money. And so I 100% like that, Micah, that you're willing for the voters to, cast their vote first for me instead of being picked by the establishment. Love that.
Well, thank you, Jordan. I couldn't agree with you more on that, on what you're saying, Jordan.
Yeah. So, one of the things that does happen, delegates can be appointed, I believe. Is that correct? So the ones that aren't full, the party chairs can appoint these delegates. So if we have, and I know earlier we had on here before you got on, Micah, somebody had posted, there's Steve Whitmer, one of our loyal video viewers. YouTube's got a way to do it. Just click on that link there. You can run for state delegate. And the way it works is, and then Spiro used an example of every township, at least in Marion County, has a different. So they'll have 17 positions in Lawrence Township with 45 people run. All you got to do is be the, top 17. So right. It goes by, a little district there. So I would encourage you to do it. Now it does cost $100. You do got to pay $100 to do it, but it's worth it. You get to go to the convention, yell at people and cuss at them, and throw cabbages. No, you don't get to throw the cash.
It's the stockbroking. It's like the stock floor for the grassroots. This is like where we're running around in masses trying to garner these votes.
I just like to go and see the powers that be give me evil eyes. Give me the squeaky eye and stuff. Hey, what's he doing in here? What's that kid doing in here? Get him out.
So one of the things I tell people when they ask me about running for delegate, yeah, you do pay $100, but you only pay that if you win. Just FYI, you don't have to pay that. You only once you register for the convention as a delegate, then you'll pay $100. But my first year, 2016, when I ran for delegate, it's easy. You go down to your county courthouse and you go into the elections office in the clerk's area there, and you say, hey, I'd like to run for delegate in the Republican Party. And they'll give you a form. You'll fill it out. It's pretty easy. It takes a few minutes, and then you give it back to them, and then you're on the ballot in May of 2024. So my first year when I did that in January, I signed up. I had completely forgot that I signed up to run for delegate. Like May, the primary comes, and I get a text message from one of my buddies, and he was like, "Hey man, I just got the vote for you. Like I love that you were on the ballot. Like." Good luck. And I'm thinking to myself, what the heck is this guy talking about? Like, I'm not on the ballot. And I wrote back, I said, what? I didn't run for any office. He said, well, you're on the ballot, man. And I said, for what? He said, something about like a delegate or something. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I had forgotten. Well, I ended up, without telling anybody that I was running, I ended up taking third, which there were 9 delegate spots that were up for grabs. So just my name, ID in the town at the time, and then also it does help if your last name starts with an A, B, C, or D, right? Like,
people don't understand that is a big deal. I mean, it's like
so Jordan, you're probably okay, but John, I don't know, man. It's gonna be hard.
I'm gonna use that as the excuse why I never win anything. I'm gonna use that as my last name because I'm tall and I got blue eyes, and like 80% of the people that have that win. So I don't know what.
I love it.
Must be the last name. But yeah, this is it's just a very interesting thing to do, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. Now, if you do sign up and you don't see your name on the ballot in May, you won. Because there's not enough people out there. So that's how it is in Wayne Township. Anybody that's in Wayne Township right now, you sign a delegate, you're going to win, pay $100. I'll see you at the convention. So it'll be fun.
That's because each area has a certain amount of delegates. And if, like in my area, we have 9 delegate spots. If there are only 8 people sign up, they don't even put you on the ballot. It's just like you said, John, everybody wins. So just by signing up, you might even win your first election. That's pretty awesome.
I won precinct committee, and you can sign up for precinct committee, man. And no, those used to be like working positions, but now with the way vote is, in Marion County, it's really not. You can vote anywhere. It's just an interesting way, another way to get involved, because that way, if you have in your county, if you have an opening, they'll have what's called a caucus. That's where the party people get together and say somebody gets elected to another position or whatever, and they need to fill that position. Then they'll have a vote, and you can be that guy if you or gal. So I'm going to go ahead and put up a picture. I took a picture when I was at the convention. Let's see if I can put it up there. There you go. There's what the convention looks like. Look at that. That looks like Tara Klutz up there talking, and she is our state auditor. And as I would like to say, sorry about that. That's like watching paint dry, but hey, you want to be auditor, go for it. I mean,
she's good. She's awesome. She's one of the good guys for sure. They just changed the title of that position now. It's no longer going to be called the Indiana State Auditor. It's going to be the Comptroller. So the Indiana Comptroller. So good luck spelling that one. I don't know.
I was already, it's like, that's just, I just got auditor spelled. It's funny.
That's right. Yeah.
We were actually cleaning out the garage, do a little spring cleaning late this year. And my wife found a check from the government. Tara Klutz had signed it for $9 in 2017. Now it didn't have the 90 days on there. So I rolled it through the bank. We'll see if it goes through, because I know the state's got plenty of money, not going to bounce. They can afford to give me my $9. I don't want to have to go to that collection agency thing they got there, unclaimed checks, to get my $9. So next week we may have a problem on this show if I don't get my $9 back.
Or that was a or that was a financial fraud scheme that the state of Indiana is doing to you, where you cash it and now they got your bank account info, and then they're just gonna like start funneling out money from your bank account.
I never did trust that Tara Klutz either anyway, so I'm sure it's just fraudulent doing all. But
funny.
We've got a couple little checks here for stuff that's messed up or whatever. So what are they sitting around and going, oh, darn it, we charge too much. And we have like our gas tax going up here, a penny on the sales and on the gas. It's like 71 cents of a gallon of gas goes to the thing. And I got 465 shut down. With that kind of tax money, we should have magic carpets to ride around on. We don't even need roads. Come on.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Look,
so
Micah,
bad.
if you become lieutenant governor, bro, we're gonna need you to make sure you turn off the spigot on taxes. Like, advocate hardcore.
You can't do nothing, can you?
Hey, he can advocate. He's allowed to advocate for policies.
Oh, trust me, I will be one of the biggest hawks on fighting for tax decreases, and I can't believe that they would actually even consider raising any taxes right now in the current economic climate that we are in, with the Biden inflation and just the nonsense that's going on nationally with everybody's cost of living is going through the roof. And not only do we get a tax increase on gas, even if it's a penny, I don't care. Like, we shouldn't be raising. I don't care if it's a minuscule of a penny, if it's a percentage of a penny. I don't want tax increases, period. And especially right now. And then we have property taxes going through the roof. Like, what the heck is that about? I mean, it's like the political ruling class lives in a completely different universe than the average Joe in our society right now. I mean, come on, guys. And then the legislature voted to give pay increases to the governor and, the state offices. So even lieutenant governor got a pay increase. And I called up my state rep and state senator. I said, what are you guys doing? Like, this is not the time to be. And
they're paving the way for us to make more money when we win.
Oh my gosh, man! I would give it back. It is not the time to be raising anybody's pay in government. And they said, well, our government positions are drastically underpaid comparatively to the.
They sort of are, but I mean, still, it's the optics of things, or it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look good.
Do it when we get our national economic crisis under control. Don't do it right now when everyone's hurting. It's just not good timing. And I will be the biggest fighter for things like that in the state house. And while I don't have the vote necessarily, I do have influence, and I know how to use influence, and I will use it.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Spiro is channeling our Lucy. Taxation is what? Taxation is theft.
That's right.
So Lucy she's all over that part. But
I will be Ron Swanson in the state house. You can guarantee that.
Hold on a second. Is that the guy that delivers the frozen goodies to our house, Swanson?
No. Ron Swanson. He was off of Parks and Rec, and he was the best anti-tax guy ever, and he believed taxation.
Okay. I thought we were all going to get frozen corn dogs for a minute, but never mind. No. We don't get them. But I tell you, it's our politics in general. It seems like it's just the same people. I mean, look at what we have for president, and it's the same people, and it even comes down to our mayor. Here, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but it's 2-1 Democrat in Marion County. Now, is the Democrats going to be upset enough to vote across the aisle or not vote, or what's going to happen with that? What's your take on that, Mike? I mean, Jefferson got some jack, he's got some cash, he's hiring some people, he's going to make a run at this thing, but is it just in vain?
Yeah, I think if anyone could do it right now, it's Jefferson Shreve. I mean, he's got the funds to do it. It's the right time. People in Marion County are hurting. There's crime is through the roof. Businesses are leaving quickly and in droves. At some point, if Jefferson can't win right now, I think you just have to turn the people over to what they want. And it's heartbreaking. I would hate to say, okay, well, Marion County, you want high crime, you want bad business environments, you want bad failing schools. This is what you want, and at some point, you just kind of have to give the people what they want. And if they can't figure this out in Marion County, I hate to say it, but it's what they want. When everything starts crumbling, it's just like, well, guys, those are the people you voted to enact policies that destroy your communities. Like, what did you expect? And so, but I do think Jefferson is setting himself up to really be able to take down Hogshead. And I think Hogshead is probably scared, to be honest with you. I mean,
they're
Jordan, you can hit on this one, but his gun grab move that he did last week, saying that he's going to outlaw guns in Marion County. I mean, he can't do that. That is a political move just to rally up his base. I mean, I'd love to hear what you think on that.
Oh, no. To me, I think it's a complete okay, first of all, he just declared this emergency a week later, keep in mind, after he says, oh, I want to take away all these guns and stuff. Look, the guy just needs to not run. Do the Democrats not have anyone else that they can run? Like, is there no one else? I mean, it's bad enough they elected a prosecutor who doesn't know a law book from that of a coloring book. I mean, Marion County is just a Wild West. And I recommend every citizen, if you are able and a good-bodied citizen, protect yourself. Marion County is spread real thin right now. And, I mean, I don't know what to say. I laughed. I literally pulled over and laughed when I found that out. And I was like, good luck. Like, you try your best. Good luck. I mean, it's already hard enough as it is to commute in town. You're just giving us a reason not to come to Marion County. That's all right.
Yeah, and they should have watched our show a couple weeks ago. We talked about the preemption law. It's like triple damages. So whenever they try to do this law, and the city council just votes it right in because it ain't their money when they got to lose. And you know what? The other thing is they want this because the law firms that fund all these campaigns, as soon as that lawsuit comes in, all they got to do is file an appearance and they get paid. When I ran for mayor, I had signatures and I had my signatures. I had 1,100 voters that were registered to vote, but their addresses didn't line up because voter registration screwed up a lot of their voter. We have the motor voter laws. They just screwed up a lot of stuff. And there was 11 lawyers against me, 6 from the state, 5 from the city, and they all got paid. And I know I did a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, on the numbers, and it was $72,000 that they spent from just the city. And so if you just take that just casually and just double it, that's $140,000 they spent to keep me off the ballot. And all it would have cost them is about 29 cents for ink to put me on the ballot for mayor. It wasn't like it was a bunch of people on there. It was Jim Merritt and Joe Hogsett. I mean, 3 old white dudes. What's another white dude on there? So I'll put him on there. But that's how it works. So they will line up, they will get paid, and that's how it's not like it's a big deal. I mean, they really don't care about your tax money. And that's who paid for this. The election board was the people that paid for this. And people don't understand that, oh, well, this is just a stunt to get reelected, because I agree. I was talking to a councilman about the business neighborhood services, about doing some upgrades and some improvements on how it works and everything. And Abby, that's in charge of it, said, we're not going to do anything because we might not be in charge in January. So there's some nervousness inside that something may happen. So this is how they operate. We're going to burn the place down so the next guy can't succeed. So that's the type of people in our city.
I mean, I just don't get it. Like, how do we not elect a prosecutor? And I think that's what Shreve's going to have a really hard time with, going in this, is that people like the image of change, that you're doing something to make the place a better place, but don't actually change it. We like the way that it is. We actually found this weird balance in this chaotic harmony. And so it's just like, we couldn't even get a prosecutor elected in with this last strategy. And we really needed one. And now we're about to double down on the mayor. I just hope that my conservative friends really don't trust the playbook like we did the last time, and really go vote your conscience. Like, really go get to know the candidates. Like, really look past them outside the media. Do you know this candidate outside of Facebook? Have you seen them at a grocery store? Have you shaken her hand before? Like, if all you know them is on Facebook, you're part of the problem, because that's how they get elected. They show you these 30-second videos of them kissing the baby, cutting a ribbon, opening up a park that they have shootings in an hour after they close. I'm just saying, it's a joke. It's Marion County is a laughing joke, and the rest of the state then moved on, done fixed some of their issues, and Marion County is this redhead stepchild that we seem to we just can't get along, and that's the problem.
Yeah. It's like Rodney King said, why can't we just get along? That's 30 some years ago. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
It's crazy. How time flies. Well, Micah, we've appreciated you coming on, but before we let you go here, we need to talk about this Jesus, Sex, and Politics show that you do. I actually heard some advertising on the IBC. I heard you guys advertising on there. You guys must be getting, and I've been on the show, and it was spectacular. You and Nathan do a great job on there. I can't wait to be invited back again someday.
Well, we'd love to have you back, and you too, Jordan. If you ever want to be on, we just love talking about life, and we talk about politics, but really we talk about the philosophy of just worldview. So just the idea of, hey, what are you made for? Do you think there's a bigger calling in your life? Have you ever felt empty? Do you ever feel like there's got to be something more? Well, we know we have the answer, and we can point you to who he is, and his name is Christ. And so we talk about all those things. So we always say that we name the podcast Jesus, Sex, and Politics because it's the three most important things in life in the right order. Jesus is first, and then sex. Sex is awesome, and that's the second most important thing in life, and then politics. So,
I can think of a whole different, I can start with the Jesus thing, and I can think of a bunch of things after that, maybe.
Oh, man.
Love
it's like look, my wife is doing shameless plugs here. Doing her on your. It's only an hour-long show. It's only an hour-long show.
God is the author and creator of sex. It's a good thing. When it's done in the right way, it is awesome. And we talk about that. In the Bible, there is a whole book of the Bible dedicated to the sexual relationship between a husband and a wife. It's called the Song of Solomon.
It's like a deer, and it's very poetic.
Yeah, it's very poetic. And trust me, as a middle school boy, we were pulling things out of the Song of Solomon all the time and telling our teachers things, quoting scripture from Song of Solomon. And they couldn't be that mad because we're just quoting scripture, right? But they wanted to kick us out of the classroom for what we were saying. So
it's like back in the day before we had all this stuff going on. We had to get the National Geographic to see the naked jungle women. That's how old I am. I'm telling you, it's like that's
so funny.
All right, hey, Micah,
I'm laughing because I've been there. Yeah.
You got to stick around for the conspiracy theory because, like I said, you won't be on the hot seat anymore. You'll be like normal, like me and Jordan, normal people here. So I'm going to go ahead and play. I think we've gone through all of our stuff tonight. Let's see if I can find the thing. Oh yeah, here we go. So get your tinfoil hats out. Hey y'all, it's time for the conspiracy theory. So you better get your tinfoil hat out and let's see what's going on this week. All right. Yeah, we got the bishop.
There we go.
Bishop. Hey, I got to give a shout out to my boy Jordan up there. He came to meet me under the bridge and served about 100+ homeless folk this Sunday.
Hey, that was a living sermon right there.
Yeah,
People have enough food.
Yeah, that was because we got down to the last sandwich, and we were getting ready to have to call Lucy to come in and make another sandwich for Dawn, but we made it through it. It was Loaves and Fishes Day at the Mission 27, and that's the show that I was on with Micah about the ACLU kicking us off the parking lot because of my big mouth on the Twitter, and that's how it goes. But we're doing well at Mission 27. All of our people know where to go to get a good meal, and Jordan did it right. He did a great job.
Thank you.
Now, Mike, are you going to have a conspiracy tonight, or?
Well, I don't even know what we're talking about. Is there?
It's whatever. It's wide open.
Okay. I think I got one. I can throw it out there.
Okay, we're gonna let Jordan go first since he's got the.
All right, mine is simple. Mine's simple. It's about aliens again. We're gonna keep this real simple. All right, so they just had this 90-minute release press conference that apparently back when they made this Stargate movie, with Kurt Russell and all that. No, that was a real adventure. Apparently, we've been, taking out ETs and still in their crafts and stuff. And apparently, they're about to come to Earth and pull an Independence Day And so they're trying to sound the alarm before Earth basically needs another Will Smith to save us. And they're giving us about 3 months.
Hey, Jordan, this isn't fact. This is conspiracy. Remember, it's not what's really going on. Okay, we don't.
Because
you know all the aliens are watching the Mouthwash show. I mean, that's where they get the truth. You know, Micah talked about truth earlier in the show. We bring the truth. You cannot find more real talk than what we have here on this show. Okay, Micah, I'm gonna let you go now.
Okay, so RFK Jr. Okay, he's making a big run on the Democrat side to give the people a voice on the left. I have a conspiracy that he better be careful. He may end up like his dad and his uncle. I don't think there's a whole lot of people on the left that like him, and I like what he's doing because he's giving the voters a choice. But I think there's a conspiracy not only to take him out kind of from a mouthpiece perspective, but who knows? I mean, there may be people mad enough to actually even take him off the planet. I hope that doesn't happen, God forbid. But they are trying to destroy him and silence him any way they can right now. And I think it's great what he's doing. Just again, he's just giving people a voice. And I don't agree with him on every issue by any means, but I like what he says about the big pharma problem that we have in America. So, but that's RFK Jr. So we'll see what happens, but more power.
He better not take his private plane up. He better not be taking his private plane up for a spin or driving through Dallas or anything like that. Just saying.
I don't think he has nothing to worry about. I mean, we can't even overthrow governments right anymore or leave Afghanistan right, let alone an old man taking out another old man. I mean, Biden fell on stage how many times? And Secret Service weren't there to
connect. He keeps getting up, though. He keeps getting up. And, you know, he's got 6 more years in him. Don't worry about it. You know, everybody says, he won't make it that long. He'll make it as long as he can. It's crazy. Okay, so here, my conspiracy theory tonight has something to do with the lieutenant governor. So this friend of mine, he's a good guy, he's an honest guy, preacher. He decides he's going to shake it up a little bit and run for lieutenant governor outside the box a little bit. So, well, you know, when the Empire Strikes Back, they come at you with one of those double lightsabers, lightsaber on both ends. Well, this is what they're going to bring out. They're going to bring out Greg Pence to run against Micah. They're going to bring Greg Pence out. He's going to get out of that house, that cushy job he's got out there in Washington. But here's the wild card. Lucy's phoned me earlier when she said she couldn't be on. They're actually going to bring Bill Gates in to run for lieutenant governor too. So you're not going to have to beat Pence, but you're going to have to beat Bill Gates. Game over. You might as well drop out now.
Bring it on, brother. That's what I say. I'd take those odds any day. So
sounds like good odds.
Okay, yeah. Well, you're a brave man. You're a brave man. Well, hopefully I'll be a state delegate and I can come vote for whoever's running against you. I mean, so I can vote for you.
Hey, if David can take out the line,
you're going to have to earn the vote. But I have to give you a prop for stepping up because we are still working on our guest that I don't know if you recall this news story about a year or so ago about a fender bender in Indianapolis here where when they were exchanging information, the other guy just decided to exchange beating the guy almost to death. Well, come to find out, there's actually nothing's been happened to the other guy. This guy was literally almost beat to death, spent time in the hospital. The only way that he was saved was by a good Samaritan. And he is very frustrated because guess what? No justice has happened for this gentleman. So we'll see. He was supposed to be on tonight and I just couldn't make the connection. So Micah, we appreciate you coming on. And I think that a lot of people are very intrigued with how some of these party politics work. And I think this has been a good time tonight. And we thank you because it's obvious you were at another event and you drove your car and just like your rants during the daytime when you're talking about different things.
It's almost like a second studio. So it's all good.
All right. Well, hey, this has been a great show tonight. And, we appreciate you coming on. Thanks, Jordan. We held it down without the ladies. I mean, I felt a little lost, but I did get to ask more questions than usual, so that was fun. So let's see. I think I gotta exit here. Yeah, it's I have to have all these different endings, Micah, because Jordan doesn't come on sometimes, and Lucy doesn't come on this time, and they just think I have all this time to edit these things down. But hey, it's all good. It's all good. I got it. So thanks, Micah. Thanks, Jordan. We'll catch you later, and we'll check in with Micah a little bit later, see how that lieutenant governor things. Do we have to? If you win, do we have to salute you since you're a lieutenant?
No, you do. You do not. You can just still call me
Curtsy?
Micah. So
Can I
that'll work.
curtsy?
Yeah. Okay. In
All
today's
right.
day and age, whatever you want to do, man. It's you be
that's
you.
right. All right. Thanks a lot, and make sure you tune in on Monday nights at 9:30 for WHMB Channel 40, and you will see an edited version of this, and we'll go from there. Thanks. See y'all later.
Yes.